Hello everyone, X-Walk Hill Bethelite here, and I want to discuss something. There's a group called the Children of God, and you can look this group up on YouTube to kind of refresh your memory on that group, but a lot of you are very familiar with it. As a matter of fact, the group is still around today, but it goes under the name the Family International. So you can Google the Family International, and I'm sure that group will pop up. Now, why is this important? Well, because this is a group that had child molestation going on. You had wife swapping going on, and that was taught as a part of the doctrine. These people weren't going against their religion in doing things that were immoral and doing things that were wrong. They were doing what their religious teacher taught them to do. Their cult leader, he told them that this is okay. So the things that they were doing, they were operating within the parameters of their religious beliefs. They believed in free love. And when I say free love, I mean completely free. In that love equated to sex, and sex equated to them as something that there was nothing wrong with. And I mean, it didn't matter if it was a mom having sex with her little boy or a father having sex with his little girl. That was their religious belief, and they practiced that. Wife swapping, orgies. They practice that. Well, you have a situation going on here where people are being hurt. There was a guy, his name, I believe, was Rick. And you probably could just look up the name Rick in Children of God, and you'll see a video that he did, where he was very disturbed because his mother engaged in sex with him. And other people older than him, women, engaged in sex with him. So if you do a little research about this group, do you have any sort of moral confusion as to whether or not the United States should have stepped in and stopped that group? Comment down below. Do you have any kind of anything in you that says, well, that was their religion, so it should be okay for them to have sex with children if that's a part of their religious belief? Comment down below and let me know if you think that that's okay. And also comment down below and let me know if you think that the government should not step in and control the situation. Do something about it. Because when it comes to harming people and religious belief, does religious belief make it okay to harm people? Now, also, I have another question. If the government, and I believe this group is in other countries, so what if the government or governments decided to make the Children of God illegal? Ban it. Anyone deciding to participate after it has been made illegal, well, then there is prison time. Now, if that were to occur, would you then think, oh my, the governments are now about to ban every religion because they've banned a cult? Do we then go to the extreme of thinking, well, people should be allowed to harm other people in the name of religion? Because if the government gets involved and puts a stop to it or tries to control it, the government will then take over everything and stop every religion. Are we going to go that far with it? Well, no, of course we wouldn't. We would want the cult that was doing so much damage to people to be stopped. How much damage did they do? Well, Rick, and I don't believe that that was his real name, but if you look up Rick in Children of God, it'll bring up his video, should bring up his video. Well, if you watch that video and you do a little more information, research, you'll find out that Rick was very disturbed by what had happened to him, the sexual molestation, and he ended up killing someone that was a member of that group, probably involved in his molestation, and then killed himself. So there's no question as to whether or not the group, the Children of God, did damage to people. You can see it in the videos. You have evidence that it's done damage to people. So it's not even a question of if a religion can do damage. Can it hurt people? Can it cause people to hurt themselves? We know the answer is yes. So is it okay then for something that dangerous to be controlled, something that powerful to have some parameters with which it can operate in? And if they decide to go against it, no, that's our religious belief. Is it okay then for the governments to say, okay, well, do your prison time? The point is this: Jehovah's Witnesses is a cult. You have probably more video evidence that the Jehovah's Witnesses have been involved in shunning and molestation, been involved in destroying families, been involved in people beating their wives and children, and it's just okay because they need to be more submissive. The Jehovah's Witnesses have been involved in so much. There's people in Korea now who, because of the rules with regards to Watchtower, pretty much every Jehovah's Witness male has got to go to prison in Korea. I visited people in Korea that were in prison. This group does so much damage to people worldwide. And you probably have more videos from former members of Jehovah's Witnesses, as small as that group is. There's endless videos. You cannot count the number of videos there are on YouTube. There is plenty of information that this group does damage. This group hurts people. So should we treat it any differently than the Children of God? Should we treat it as a group that should be above the law, a group that Russia shouldn't be allowed to dictate, hey, this is extreme, we won't allow it? And if you decide, okay, you're going to do it anyway, regardless of what the authorities try to say, well, here's your prison time. We don't want to play favorites when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, Children of God, well, they should have put a stop to that. Oh, Jehovah's Witnesses, well, if Russia decides to put a stop to that, oh my. These people should be allowed to do all the damage that they do because it's their religious belief. Children should be allowed to die because of not having the proper medical treatment because it's their religious beliefs. Fathers should go 20 years without speaking to their daughters, like the situation with my stepsister and her Jehovah's Witness father. people should be allowed to not speak to their own children for decades at a time. Why? Well, because that's just their religious beliefs. Well, what kind of damage does that do? There's been suicides. There's been a lot of suicides. There's been a lot of damage. There's been a lot of damage because of the molestation, the sexual molestation that goes on. There's been a lot of damage because this group has told people the end of the world is around the corner. Do you know that the children of God also taught that the end was really close and kept people in a stirred, frayed sense of mind? You tell people the end of the world is around the corner, well, they may do anything at that point. Children of God also would threaten to take your family away. There's so many things that cults do that are damaging in the community, damaging to their own members. So when the authorities finally step in, I don't think that we should just ignore the reasons why the authorities are stepping in and say, well, it's a religion, so everything that they do should just be okay. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about everything. Now, I'm not saying that things should happen to these people that are illegal. I'm not saying these people should be beaten in the streets. I'm not saying that anything inhumane should happen to them. I'm talking about the law of the land. If the law of the land is we will allow religions, but we will not allow cults, well, if a cult member decides to continue to operate, just do your prison time then. And don't expect people to feel more remorse, more feeling for the cult member than they do for all the people that the cult harms and hurts, and all the people that have committed suicide, and all the people who are dead because they couldn't have medical treatments, and all the people who are struggling because they weren't allowed to pursue their potential because, they weren't supposed to go to school. They weren't supposed to. Children of God, a lot of them were, at least one that I know of, had, I believe, up to like a 6th grade education. There's so many similarities with cults. And the point to the similarities with cults is that a government can figure out the difference between a cult and a religion. It's not hard. You got the same things. You got the shunning. I'll take your family away. The end of the world is tomorrow. Getting people stirred up and afraid. You know what I mean? Doing things that are kind of underhanded. Doing things that are extreme. The government can figure out the difference between a cult and a religion. We can figure out the difference between a cult and a religion. So we shouldn't be afraid that if Russia and other countries decide to put their foot down and say these extreme, crazy cults, we're not going to put up with it. They're going to be illegal. We shouldn't just fly off the handle and say, well, they're going to now make every religion illegal. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we can make murder illegal, and that doesn't make waking up and getting up out of bed illegal. We understand the differences between something that's harming people and something that's not. So Comment down below, 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. Ex Wallkill Bethelite signing out.